Hello, this is Bob, and I'll be reading the Tuesday, January 13th, 2026 edition of the Fall River Herald News. Today's weather is mostly sunny, 42 to 49 for a high, 33 to 40 for a low. On Wednesday, we're looking at breezy in the morning, 48 to 55 for a high, 32 to 39 for a low. Thursday, we're looking at rain or snow showers, 45 to 52 for a high, 23 to 30 for a low. Friday continued mainly cloudy and colder, 29 to 36 for a high, 18 to 25 for a low. And on Saturday, plenty of sunshine, 35 to 42 for a high, 24 to 31 for a low. Sunrise was at 7:10 this morning, and it sets tonight at 4:37. The three articles on the front page of today's paper all involve the Gabriel House Assisted Living Facility fire. The first one, entitled Survivors Thank Firefighters at a Reunion. Several survivors recently reunited with Fall River first responders who saved their lives on the night of the deadly fire at Gabriel House Assisted Living Facility. At an event held at Primo on Water Street, USA Today company news partner WCVB was on hand to see survivors of the tragedy thank the firefighters, police, and paramedics who pulled them from the smoke and flames. "I want to thank the firefighters. Thank them a lot. They saved my life and saved all our lives," said Gabriel House resident Neil Beck to WCVB. The event was held nearly 6 months after the catastrophic July 13th fire, in which 10 residents were killed and about 30 people injured. The incident at the 261 Oliver Street facility tested the limits of the Fall River Fire Department, which struggled to save dozens of residents trapped inside, most of whom were elderly or physically infirm. Michael Pimentel was among those at the reunion. A multiple amputee, he was pulled to safety by firefighter Brian Mauricio the morning after the fire. The Reverend Rob Nemkovich of Blessed Trinity Church reunited Pimentel with his mother's ashes, which Pimentel had to leave behind during his escape. Pimentel and Mauricio hugged during their reunion at Primo. "He saved my life," Pimentel told WCVB. "I think we'll be friends for the rest of our lives." Fall River Fire Lieutenant Paul Machado said seeing the residents brought a little bit of joy during dark times. "They're alive. That's what we're here for. It's life safety," Machado said. Veteran firefighter Michael O'Regan, who raced to the Gabriel House fire scene on July 13th despite being off duty, told the Herald News that he didn't attend the event because it's not my place, but called it a way for everyone to process the traumatic event. "These guys, it's part of their healing process," O'Regan said. "It's good for the community, too. I don't think everybody is going to fully heal from it, but I think that the community getting together helps." The fire was the deadliest in Massachusetts in more than 40 years, and the deadliest in Fall River in 150 years. The event has exposed the Fall River Fire Department's staffing problems to scrutiny, led to multiple lawsuits that will likely take years to resolve, and sparked concern about conditions at assisted living facilities statewide. The Gabriel House residents have since been relocated to other nursing homes or assisted living facilities. "We normally don't have contact with victims of fires and bad accidents afterward," O'Regan said. "So it was nice to see them all get together and thank them. I'm sure it meant a lot to the guys over there." The second front page article is entitled "Government Moves at the Speed of Slow. Fall River Firefighter Says City Not Making Progress on Improving Safety Conditions." 6 months after the deadly fire at Gabriel House Assisted Living Facility exposed how short staffing in the Fall River Fire Department cost lives, Firefighters have received their share of congratulations for their heroism, seen proposals for change, heard promises that everyone in power would take steps to improve working conditions. Firefighter Michael O'Regan said for boots on the ground firefighters, actual progress on improving their conditions has been minimal. Government moves at the speed of slow, said O'Regan. Every day the department is called upon to answer calls for accidents, medical emergencies, and structure fires, while enduring what O'Regan called low pay, overwork, staffing that falls below national standards, aging equipment, and facilities that are a health hazard. While kudos are welcome, O'Regan, who heads the city's firefighters union local, said there's a better way to make firefighters feel valued. The city has been working towards giving us the extra manpower we need, but we're the lowest on the totem pole when it comes to funding anything in the city, he said. The July 13th fire at the Oliver Street facility was historically catastrophic. Firefighters, police, and paramedics rescued more than 50 people from the building, which housed dozens of people too elderly or disabled to evacuate themselves. About 30 people were injured. 10 people died as a result of the fire, making it the deadliest statewide in over 40 years and the deadliest in Fall River in 150 years. In 30 years, I've worked in a lot of places, seen a lot of things. Single, double, triple, quadruple fatalities, O'Regan said. I've never seen anything like that. Surveillance footage and police body cam video from the scene show hallways choked with smoke. It was a scene of controlled chaos as first responders braved the scene. Many have rushed to help without proper equipment. Helpless residents, many elderly, some barely clothed, many missing limbs, almost none able to save themselves, screamed for help from the windows, while on the radio command begged for bodies and ladders to help with the evacuation. Firefighters, eating smoke without protection, ran from room to room, looking to help with the escape only to find multiple people dead. In the immediate aftermath of the fire, it became obvious that firefighters had seen terrible things inside Gabriel House. They would have to process this. O'Regan said members of the department are okay. I think that just being on the job itself, you have the tools. It's a special person to do this job, he said. There are a lot of young guys there, but we're a strong group of guys. We're a strong community. We do tend to take care of each other, but they're doing good. They can be comforted by knowing that, as bad as the Gabriel House fire was, they prevented it from being unspeakably worse. Fire Chief Jeffrey Bacon said days afterwards that, based on the conditions, the fire was destined to kill 50-plus people, with tears in his eyes focused on the many lives his crews saved. Members have received citations and congratulations for doing the best job possible under difficult circumstances, preventing further loss of life, saving the building from total destruction, and keeping the fire from spreading. The Boston Globe even named them Bostonians of the Year for 2025. O'Regan said the kudos are welcome, but he added there's a concrete way to appreciate their service. The biggest thing that bothers the guys the most is that you get handshakes and thank yous and stuff like that, but we still return to the same trucks that break down, the same stations that are falling apart. If anything, what hurts the most is stuff like that, O'Regan said. You see what we have to deal with. Please help us help you by giving us stuff, for God's sake. Even before the Gabriel House fire, O'Regan had been sounding the alarm on conditions at the city's aging firehouses. Some of the city's stations are a century old, infested with roaches and vermin, containing asbestos, mold, and sewage. O'Regan told the city council last year that at the Central Station in Bedford Street, old paint was known to flake off the ceiling and eat into people's mouths as they slept. Despite Fall River government kicking up a fuss about the conditions there, we haven't had any progress to speak of, O'Regan said. They give us shiny trinkets, a grill, or shades, or something like that. But as far as the overall hazardous working conditions inside the stations, that hasn't really been mitigated, he said. He said the city has a spare ladder truck dating to 1989 that is, at best, subpar. A new truck has been ordered, but because of delays in procuring these vehicles, in part because of limited supply and long lead times, and in part because of insufficient funding, it won't be ready until the fall. Once we get the new truck, hopefully we mothball the 1989 truck. But probably not, he said, and the truck it's replacing, that's going to be the spare, is also not good. Gabriel House Fire highlighted a key piece of equipment missing from the department's arsenal, a vehicle to refill air tanks for their SCBA apparatus. In his after-action report, Bacon singled this out as vital, and it's on its way thanks to a $100,000 grant. It's unfortunate it takes an incident like this to really alert the public, O'Regan said. We know the firefighters themselves know that there's things we need. Grant money won't be available for more manpower, however. The department was recently denied a SAFER grant that would have put 5 more people on the job. Fall River has long been operating below National Fire Protection Association standards of having 4 people per piece of apparatus. Members of the International Association of Firefighters Union and the Professional Firefighters of Massachusetts have insisted that studies show following the standard means greater public safety. After Gabriel House, the city moved immediately to authorize more overtime to beef up its numbers. Since then, Bacon has implemented the use of a local register to speed up the hiring process, which bypasses the civil service test. O'Regan said his local 1314 and the state unions all opposed the idea. In 2008, then Mayor Robert Carrera and the city council made the fire chief position a non-civil service job, a move the union opposed. After years of controversy and outcry over claims of political favoritism, it was reversed in 2012. There's a system in place for a reason, and now the chief wants to shatter the system that we fought to keep, O'Regan said. But he said it's paramount that more hiring happen to make the department better able to save people and property and save firefighters themselves from excessive exposure to danger and cancer-causing chemicals. Go to places like Boston. Good Lord, he said, we get a structure fire, they'll show up with 60, 80, 100 firefighters. We're showing up with 16, 18, and it's the same kind of buildings. O'Regan called the fire department an insurance policy, saying that too many people don't buy enough coverage to protect themselves. While the city has recognized that it needs more coverage, he said, it needs to act. Fall River is closing in on the minimum standard, but we're not even minimum standard yet, O'Regan said. What that says to guys is, do you really value us if you won't even give us the minimum tools to do the job? We're still not there. It's better than any point in my career, but we're still not there. Hopefully, we get there. The third front page article is entitled, Residents Have Few Answers, No Justice Yet. The fire at Gabriel House Assisted Living Facility lasted 1 hour, but its aftermath will last for years. 6 months ago, residents at the 261 Oliver Street facility were awakened in the night by chaos, screaming, smoke, and flames. Dozens of the elderly and disabled residents stricken by terror would be pulled out of windows and carried down halls, leaving everything they owned behind. They've lost everything, have since been scattered to other nursing homes and facilities across the region. Inside what remains of the building, now boarded up, many may still have personal items left there, damaged by smoke and water. Though 28 people so far have filed lawsuits against owner Dennis Edscorn, claiming negligence, their advanced ages, the complexity of the case, and the pace of the legal system means it remains uncertain if they'll obtain any justice or even any clear answers about what really happened that night. What happened in the Gabriel House fire? Well, the fire alarm was activated at Gabriel House at 9:38 p.m. on July 13th. An aging wood frame assisted living complex where nearly 70 people lived, most of them elderly and physically infirm. Within minutes, firefighters were on the scene and realizing the scope of the horror. Nearly every resident needed help evacuating. Most windows were blocked with air conditioners, making window rescues difficult or impossible. There would likely be dozens of oxygen tanks inside that could feed the fire, and they were outnumbered. At 9:45 p.m., a district chief issued the command, "Send me everybody." Firefighters without proper gear raced to the scene. Police officers without proper training jumped into the building to pull out frightened residents. And as minutes ticked away, casualties mounted. Later commands were issued on the radio calling for bodies and ladders. It took an hour for the fire to be knocked down but the horror wasn't over. 53 residents were pulled out of the building, 27 down ladders, and 26 out the door. 30 were injured. 9 were dead. One more succumbed to her injuries a few days later. A preliminary investigation by the State Department of Fire Services says the cause is officially unknown, but that the fire began in a resident's room and likely began either due to a faulty oxygen concentrator or improper use of smoking materials. Whether the building's fire safety systems, including alarms and sprinklers, were working properly has not yet been determined. However, attorneys for Gabriel Care LLC and its fire system inspection company have acknowledged that the sprinkler system was using sprinkler heads that were subject to a mandatory recall because of prone to failure. DFS has not completed its full investigation into the fire. There's no timeline for that to be complete. The Oliver Street building is boarded up and fenced off to deter vandals and thieves. Attorneys for several residents have been allowed occasional access inside. Photos and video footage taken inside the building and shown to the Herald News show extensive and severe damage, burned-out apartments, corridor walls blackened by soot. People have laid homemade memorials on the sidewalk and on the security fence. Obituaries, strings of rosary beads, votive candles, flowers and flags, simple handwritten messages reading grief and loss. Fall River Director of Inspectional Services Glenn Hathaway said, "As of right now, there is no plan in place when it comes to the status of the fire-torn building." Non-structural items and debris are being removed, Hathaway said. Someone's couch, someone's bed, he indicated, adding that he gave the okay for fire-damaged furniture or fixtures to be removed about 3 weeks ago. It may not be currently habitable, but it could potentially be renovated. Attorneys for Edscorn have argued in court that he would like the option to use insurance funds to restore the property to use. Court documents show the building's insurance policy was worth about $8.8 million, and it would take an estimated $12 million to rebuild the property. After the building is cleared out, Hathaway said, Edscorn may be inclined to bring in designers to assess the structure. That's what we talked about, Hathaway said. Where did all the Gabriel House residents go? Well, the chief of city's emergency management agency, Richard Aguiar, said of the nearly 70 residents living at Gabriel House on Oliver Street, approximately 30 of them were taken to St. Anne's and Charlton Memorial Hospitals on the night of the fire. Once the fire was suppressed, Aguiar said he called the Cozy Bus Company to move displaced residents huddling in the St. Anne's Credit Union parking lot across the street or the lot immediately to the right of the fire-torn assisted living facility. 37 residents were taken to the Temeo Center on Bay Street, but they couldn't stay there forever, Aguiar said. Some residents' families and children picked up their relatives back home. Others went to local nursing homes where they remained for 3 to 4 weeks. But nursing homes are not assisted living facilities, and some residents didn't qualify to be there, Aguiar said. They have since been scattered to other facilities. What is happening with the Gabriel House lawsuits? To date, 28 people have filed 11 civil lawsuits against Escorn and Gabriel Care LLC, alleging negligence that led to deaths, distress, and property loss. The scope of the disaster and the fact that the investigation is ongoing means it may be years before a jury hears their cases, if the cases reach that stage. The current timeline for Bristol County Superior Court has a potential trial beginning sometime in 2027. If a civil lawsuit is successful, it's unclear how much victims may be able to get. Gabriel Care LLC did not carry any liability insurance to cover the residents against the disaster. Attorneys for the residents have successfully prevented the building owners from collecting on their property insurance and have attached the property itself up to $5 million. Meanwhile, Gabriel Care LLC and Fire Systems Incorporated, the Dartmouth-based company that performed inspections at the building, have filed counterclaims against each other, each accusing the other of misconduct that could have prevented disaster. An attorney for one of the former residents, Stephen Oldred, had stated that his client may not have years to wait for justice. He has been given 12 to 18 months to live. That attorney stated that he hopes to file a motion in the spring for summary judgment, a motion that would argue the judge can rule in his favor without a full trial based on the facts presented. Is the fire department prepared for another disaster? The firefighters who fought the Gabriel House fire were outgunned, but have determined that this won't happen again. In the days and weeks after the fire, the department has moved to boost overtime, hire additional staff, get staff trained more quickly, and is in the process of obtaining more equipment. According to the Department of Fire Services, firefighters who rescued and recovered the Gabriel House residents are likely to be recognized at its Firefighter of the Year ceremony to be held in the fall of 2026. This next article is entitled, How Will City Use New Mental Health Grant for Students? Fall River schools are among 58 districts sharing $3.2 million in state grants to boost mental and behavioral health services for students, according to a community announcement. The grants, awarded by the Massachusetts Department of Elementary and Secondary Education, aim to help districts create or expand comprehensive mental health support systems. The funding is expected to strengthen partnerships between schools and community-based mental health providers, improve staff training, and pilot universal mental health screening programs. Fall River Public Schools are slated to receive $69,910, according to the announcement. The funding is part of an ongoing effort to address student mental health challenges, which have exacerbated by the COVID-19 pandemic. The grants can be used to enhance staff skills in recognizing and responding to mental health issues, improve data systems to track progress, and foster smoother transitions between school and community services. It is so important that we are supporting our students' behavioral and mental health, and these funds will help our school districts do just that, Governor Maura Healey said in the announcement. This investment will help students get access to the services they need to be successful. In addition to the grants, the Department of Elementary and Secondary Education is offering related professional development for school district staff. We are grateful to the educators and community-based providers who are partnering and innovating to support students, Lieutenant Governor Kim Driscoll said. When students have this support, it is easier for them to be successful academically and to build healthy relationships with their peers and teachers. Fall River Public Schools are expected to receive the $69,910 in grant funding. Other recipients include Boston Public Schools, Brockton Public Schools, Chelsea Public Schools, Everett Public Schools, Haverhill Public Schools, Lowell Public Schools, Quincy Public Schools, Springfield Public Schools, and Taunton Public Schools, according to the announcement. The grants are part of a broader effort to create safe and healthy learning for environments for students across the state. Our educators are working to create safe and healthy learning environments that are joyful, engaging, and equitable for every child, Education Secretary Dr. Patrick Tutwiler said. These grants will help provide student supports that advance that important work. This article is from USA Today. Target expands wellness products, retailer focusing on year-round affordability. Target is launching an energized year-round focus on wellness. The Minneapolis-headquartered retailer is expanding its assortment of wellness-related products by 30%. Adding thousands of new items, many priced under $10. Think skincare, beauty, nutrition, food and beverages, weight management, and baby care, the company says. Target's expanded wellness rollout will continue in the months ahead. We're embarking on a new era in wellness, said Lisa Roth, Executive Vice President and Chief Merchandising Officer of Food, Essentials, and Beauty. We want to be the destination for trend-forward wellness products, not just in January, but throughout the year. This wellness boost, which Roth said is Target's largest category expansion ever, is timely because 7 in 10 Target customers are already shopping for wellness products, the retailer's internal data suggests. Wellness will also be the focus of in-store events with product samplings and giveaways. Focusing on wellness products may help Target strengthen its retail business. The retailer has seen sales revenue plateau in recent years, dipping slightly since peaking during the COVID-19 panic. For most people, wellness is a constant lifestyle consideration, Roth said. We're here for those who want to keep their New Year's resolution, and we're also here for those who are just getting into wellness as a lifestyle. We've now reached the end of our time. Once again, today's weather will be mostly sunny, 42 to 49 for a high, 33 to 40 for a low. And tomorrow we're looking at breezy in the morning, but 48 to 55 for a high, 32 to 39 for a low. This has been Bob reading the Tuesday, January 13th, 2026 edition of the Fall River Herald News. Thank you very much for listening and have a pleasant day.